Let's talk about traits in women that men find unattractive. I talked about this in past videos, but let me go a little bit deeper into it because I was listening to a conversation with some people that I'm not going to mention, and they were telling me how one of my friends or family members, you should never know, because I'd rather not say who that person is, and they were saying how she lost a possible husband because of her temperament. And I listen to her when she speaks to this person through the phone. They put it on the speaker, and she sounds like, "Yeah, hurry up, yes. I don't care, mom. I don't care. Like, it's very bitter and very like evil. Like, she sounds evil. I'm not kidding. Like, she sounds evil. Like, shrewd." So they told her that when they hung up with her, they were saying how she's a very beautiful girl, an extremely beautiful girl, but she can never keep a guy. She was actually going to get married with a guy, and she was very excited about it, but because of her temper, he lost interest. There's a certain point that it doesn't matter how beautiful you are, your character traits are going to sabotage you. And this is the problem, is that if you depend on your beauty to get the guys, when you get older, what's going to happen? You think your beauty is going to last you forever? It doesn't. This is what I'm here for. I'm here for you. So she lost a lot of guys because of her temper, because of her way of being, right? And it doesn't matter how beautiful she is. Beauty can never hide what's inside of you. Your beauty can never hide all of those flaws you have. So what you have to do is, rather than getting shape, get in emotional shape. You see, start focusing on the inside. So let's talk about those traits that men find unattractive. And if you identify any of them, there's nothing wrong with that. That means you have space to grow, alright? So number one, give me your password. The overly jealous woman. If you notice yourself that you always have to control the guy, always looking at his Facebook, always looking at his Instagram, just always needing to know what the fuck he's doing, knowing where the hell he's going, and even sometimes tracking who he is, that's not good. Like, you're trying to control your emotional state to controlling other person's behavior. It's like when people say, "I am depressed because of you. I am angry because of you." No, you're not. I don't control your emotions. You are angry because you cannot control yourself. So you react as a result of me. But rather than seeing the true problem, which is you're not emotionally strong as you should be, nothing wrong with that. But the mere fact that I'm able to make you react does not mean that I'm the one who is at fault. It's that you're not in full control of your faculties. So if you're an overly jealous woman, that means you're trying to control how you feel through controlling somebody else's behavior. You feel like you're not enough. So as a result, you feel like one day the guy is gonna slip up. One day, it doesn't matter if he doesn't show it today, but one day he's gonna hurt you. You see? And so rather than go with the ride and take life as a game and enjoy the moment, you're living in fear. Thinking about what's going to happen next. Thinking about when he's going to inevitably cheat on you. So that's why you try to control the situation, because you cannot control what's going on inside of you. So people try to control the outside. They use force. And if you have that trait, always constantly looking who's talking to or saying who's a bitch, or I saw you like her photo, you got problems. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because when you have problems, that means you have space to grow. You see? So, again, I'm not saying jealousy is bad. Over jealousy is bad. Over jealousy is bad. Because it pushes guys away. Some jealousy is cute, and I like it, and it's adorable. I love when women are jealous about me. But I don't like it when they are obsessively jealous. Not to the point where they tell me they're jealous, but to the point where they try to control me. Where they want to know my passwords. Fuck that shit. I'm not giving you my password, alright? Number two, the victim. The victim is the person who thinks that everything that happens is against them, for them, and to them. If you continually put yourself at the center of all of your problems, which is to say, you're always thinking that people are looking at you, always thinking that everything that they insult you because you're black or you're dark. Let me tell you something. See, see the way I look. I've not. See, this is gonna be a touchy subject, but I've never experienced racism before. Never. Do you find that surprising? Yeah, right? Never, ever experienced racism. Ever. Alright? I'm not saying that racism doesn't exist. But from my experience, I've gotten stopped by the cops. I've gotten stopped all the time. But never have I ever been mistreated because of the way I look. why am I saying this? And again, I'm gonna get into a sensitive subject, but bear with me. Is that when your people or a certain when a race or even a sex is suppressed, naturally they're going to develop a victim mentality because they're actually in that situation. Nothing wrong with that. The issue is that the belief system that you instill in your children, that because of logical reasons and things that actually happened, you begin to intoxicate your family because of logical reasons. I'm not saying that you're doing it bad, but that people will begin to attract those situations because they expect it. They expect racism. Again, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying that when you expect it, you're going to see it more often. And so, in my experience, maybe I experienced racism, but it never affected me. You see? Never affected me. See, this channel, it's growing. But I never let the belief of how I look affect me. So what am I saying? Is that the victim is all based on your perception. Nobody can stop you. Nobody can control you. Nobody can control how you feel. Nobody can make you do anything. Anything that happens is because you decided to do it. To a certain extent. There's always an exception. But generally speaking, when you're the victim, that means you have no control of your emotions, no control of your life, no control of your circumstance. So you have to realize in reality, a lot of the problems you create in your life are self-made. Not because somebody did them to you, but because you saw them, you imagined them, and it became life. So the victim will cause people to push you away. They're not going to want to be around you because that energy is toxic. I'm telling you, like, it's a toxic energy that permeates your whole character, your whole being, and people feel it in an indirect manner. Number 3, the bad temper. Oh my God. When a woman, look, it's nice when a woman has a bad temper, right? It's nice, it's cute. I'm talking about bad temper. Like, temper that you just cannot argue with them, you cannot talk to them, you gotta make sure that you don't say the wrong thing around them or else you're gonna snap. When people have to be careful, walk on eggshells around you because of your anger and your bad temper, you better change, girl. You got issues. And again, nothing wrong with issues because I have my own issues. But you got issues. So you gotta work on that. You gotta find out why you're hurt because anger is a scream for help. Anger is a scream for there's pain inside of me. Help me. And so rather than externalize it, talk to your body by paying attention to the pain. That urge to spaz out on a guy, resist it. And breathe into it. You see, hone on that emotion. Because the more you externalize your anger, or the more you suppress your anger, same thing, the more it's going to grow. So what's the middle ground? Is allowing your anger to be there and seeing it. See it. Don't resist it. Don't say, I don't want to feel anger. Or don't say, okay, don't say, I'm going to release my anger through talking to the guy and being angry at him. No. Allow the anger to do whatever the fuck it wants inside of you and don't try to not think about it. Simply see it. Let it be there. And I can promise you, it's going to leave. Alright? But if you don't do that, it's going to again permeate your character. People are not going to want to be around you. It's not good. I'm telling you. Number 3, rudeness. Rudeness is one of the most annoying qualities that you can have as a woman. When you're rude, lack empathy, talk bad to waitresses, talk bad about people, gossip, guys will notice that and be very annoyed. You see, guys are gonna notice that. Again, it's not bad being rude a little bit. It's bad being rude when it's part of your character. You see, number 4, number 5, ungratefulness. Ungratefulness doesn't just mean not be saying thank you to God. I'm talking about ungratefulness is only noticing the bad things that people do and not seeing the good. Mind you, ungratefulness is a natural part of human beings. If you don't make an effort to be grateful, you're not going to be grateful. It's a normal mechanism because ungratefulness it derives from the natural urge of people to look out for the danger as opposed to the safety. You see, for example, you look at when you see a nice sweater and there's a dot, like a spot, you're gonna see the spot as opposed to the sweater itself because it's for a solution. You see in the spot and you say, oh, this needs to be fixed. Nothing wrong with that. You know, you're ungrateful because you're seeing your problems, right? And those things need to be fixed. You see what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's where that behavior derives from. But the ungratefulness will, the natural urge to look at the wrong in order to fix it will turn into ungratefulness whenever you think that, whenever you create an identity out of that problem, and you, how can I say this? I'm trying to find a good way to explain this. When you just complain about it, there you go. When you just complain about it, complaining about the problems in your life, you see, that's because it's become a natural mode of your mind to not fix the things. Like, you've been trained not to fix your problems, but to talk about them, because you don't feel like you feel like you have no power to fix them. Now, if you had a problem and you believed that you could fix it, you wouldn't complain. Actually, because you believe that you could fix it, you feel good. You feel calm in the midst of the storm. You see, right now I'm grateful. Even though I'm here in my family's house, I'm grateful because I know what's going to happen. I know what I'm going to do. I know the inevitable destination that awaits for me. Not because of destiny, but because of the ability to, the human's a mind, like the brain's ability to achieve anything that it obsesses about. You see? So ungratefulness, when you're talking to the guy and you're interacting with the guy and you're an ungrateful person, you're going to see that he cleans the dishes, but then you're going to say, you know what? You forgot that spot. And that all derives from your inability to actually control your life. It's more of a pattern that arises and it looks totally different from its original form, which is not being able to control your life. You see what I'm saying? It's not that you're ungrateful, but that it's just, it comes from the place of not having power. So if you learn to tap into your personal power and realize that you could change anything in your life, you see, suddenly, indirectly, you're going to fix that issue. Indirectly, you know. Now, the other one, dependentness. When you become dependent on the guy to make you happy, when you become dependent on the guy to make your morning better by giving you a good morning text. Again, there's nothing wrong with wanting a guy to give you attention. There is something wrong when you need the guy's attention. I want women's attention, but I don't need women's attention. I want women, but I don't need women. You see? So that trait, once again, is not that the trait itself is bad. It's the behaviors that arises from those traits that is unattractive. You see, you don't give people space. You actually start exhibiting anti-seductive traits, which pushes guys away because you're always trying to get their attention. You see, and guys don't like that. Guys feel like you're leeching on. It feels like a little girl who doesn't get the hint. Dependentness comes because you have not learned how to use your faculties. You don't realize that you can feel happy on your own. You don't realize that you are powerful beyond measure. You don't realize that you don't need a man to make you happy. And in order to realize that, you gotta first learn to be sad and overcome it on your own without having the crutch of a man's attention. And so that's a problem why some women are not willing to go through that. It's painful. And this is something that I go through every single day. Because I know that the more independent I am in terms of learning to be happy on my own, the more attractive I become. And the happier I become. The attractive part is irrelevant, but it's the kind of like the cherry on top. The inevitable cherry on top. The real meat of all of this is the real happiness you find within. That once you feel happy and full on the inside, there's nothing left for you to take because you are complete. The only thing you have is to give. And when you are dependent, it means you have an empty cup. And it means that the guy has to expend energy to make you happy. God doesn't want to do that. No matter how much he wants you or loves you, he doesn't want to feel that you need him to be happy. Yeah, a guy wants to feel like you love him and that you appreciate him, but it feels better to be loved and appreciated than needed to be happy. And it makes the relationship even more exciting because I know that you don't need me, so that if one day I forget to text you, I know I'm not going to get any shit from you because you're that cool about it. You're that dependent. Even better, if I know that you're cool about it, then it makes me like, wow, what the fuck? Like, she's cool about it? Well, let me get her attention. Let me make her jealous. It makes me work for you. But if you don't give me that space by you being independent, then that's never going to happen. We're always going to be experiencing the same relationships where the guy pushes you away and you're trying to get him to commit. First, commit to yourself. And then the guys will commit to you. The last one, the role play. when you buy into the role of the woman and you buy into the role of the man, which is this: you're the man, so you gotta work. You're the one supposed to make me happy. It's your responsibility to have good sex. It's your responsibility to, for the sex life to be good. It's your fault if you come too fast. It's your fault if we're broke. It's your fault if I'm sad, because it's your responsibility. It's the roles that society says that the man is supposed to play and that women are supposed to play. You buy into it, so you buy into this romanticism that's not realistic. You romanticize love. You give it a non-realistic expectation. You said you're the man, so you gotta be the good father. We gotta have kids after this time. We gotta move in together. We gotta give an impression to everyone else. You see, and so you're really playing and living life for others. You're not living life out of an organic desire that is more of an expression of who you are as opposed to an expression of the society that you live in. When you express your relationships, they're going to be different. They're going to be different because everyone is different. You see, my relationships are different for most people. Not because I'm special, but because at the core, everyone's different. And so when you learn to tap into that who you really are, outside of social conditioning, relationships to you are going to be perceived differently. You're not going to see them as this serious thing, because it's only serious because people are watching you. You feel that people are watching you, so you feel like you have to play a role. You take a picture, with the family dog, like, oh, this is what people want to see. You take a good picture, like everyone's there, you got your man right here, and so you do all of this just for other people. But the relationship, when you go back home, is not happy. What the fuck does that even make any sense? And so you're willing to stay with the guy simply because you want to play that role of the woman. You don't want to be alone. You believe that you need a man to make you happy. And once again, that's part of the role. And it's not that you just believe it intellectually. It's more of a belief, an emotional belief, an unconscious belief. It's something that you believe in and you react to. So when you have that role, guys are going to feel that. They're going to feel pressured into a situation. They're going to feel that there's an outcome that you desire. Have high intentions but low attachment to the outcome. And that's going to fix that problem. Have an intention to one day get married, but don't pick the guy before anything happens and say he's the guy, because I saw some traits in him. It's an issue that I'm gonna need to keep pounding in your heads, so you guys can understand what I'm talking about, because these things that I'm talking about are things that you may be in a certain point in your life and you may understand some of it, but as you go through your life and certain experiences happen, you come back to watch my videos, you're going to get a new understanding that you didn't see before, simply because your mentality changed. These are things that I've learned from experience and that I didn't understand, even though they weren't right in front of me. And so that's the same thing that's going to happen to you. The more awareness you have, the more you're able to understand. That's why I may go into a lot of subjects at a deep level, because when you practice self-awareness, like there's this guy that said this: when you have a nutshell size of awareness and consciousness, you're only going to have a nutshell size of understanding. But when you expand your awareness, suddenly your understanding of things comes. Suddenly you read a book and you get more information out of it. You hear something and you're able to understand more as opposed to in the past. All because you expanded your awareness. And expanding your awareness first comes from understanding the inner workings of what's going on in your mind and looking at it from an objective perspective. By seeing these things and seeing the core problem of your problems per se. That it's not that you're jealous. You see, it's not that you're jealous, but that you're afraid of being left alone. You are afraid of being. You just have what can I say? It's not that you're jealous, but that you feel like you have no control of your life. You feel like you need to control things because you never had that control when you were a child. See, those are things you just gotta go. It's not the outside behavior, but more of the core behavior. And once you observe it objectively, not judging it, but just simply seeing it, suddenly those unconscious patterns are going to dissolve and disintegrate. And over time, they're gonna leave. But you first have to be aware of them. Anyways, these are the habits and these are the unattractive traits in women: the jealousy, victim, bad temper, rudeness, ungratefulness, dependency, and role playing. Alright? This is Alex from My 4 Travis 2.0. I may make another video today. Who knows? Bye-bye.